Hi, I'm Anna Griffiths and I'm the Access and Interpretation Officer here at the Shakespeare Birthplace Trust, and this is the fourth in our series looking at Shakespeare's villains. This week we're considering a villain who perhaps few people will find sympathy with, and like some of the villains we've looked at so far, we're looking at Iago from Shakespeare's Othello. And we're looking at Iago through the eyes of a distinguished scholar from the early 20th century, a gentleman who wrote a number of books on the life of Shakespeare, which you can find here in the reading room. And that gentleman is the Revd Edgar Innes Fripp. And we have a number of notes, sermons, lectures and articles by Fripp in the archive that we hold here. But I'm considering this lecture dated 12th of May 1912 and titled Iago. And this is what the Reverend Fripp has to say about that character. He starts by saying, "Last week, reading Othello, I was struck by the many-sidedness of the villain Iago. At the end of the drama, Othello asks, 'Will you, I pray you, demand that demi-devil why he hath thus ensnared my soul and body?' So he wants to know the motives that has actuated his enemy. He sees no adequate ground for this persistent and unrelenting course of cruelty. And probably, if Iago himself were called upon to give an explanation, he would be unable to do so." So Reverend Fripp is looking at the beginning at Iago's motives, and he says here at the bottom, motives are often missed things. It is difficult often to say why we do evil and why we do good. And so in this lecture, he goes on to consider Iago's character. His philosophy is the outcome of his character and his conduct the result of both. Intellect and will predominate altogether over his affections. He is almost heartless and very nearly devoid of conscience, but intellectually he is keen and in willpower remarkable. And so this is why he thinks that Iago does what he does. And he says that, if I just turn over, he says, there is much here to think about. So he goes on to use Iago as a bit of an example for us all. And he says, in the first place, intellect is not everything. He says that intellect without conscience is a dangerous gift. So Iago is very intellectual, but has no conscience. He says, nor is work everything. Iago is a great worker. He is the most industrious. He's more industrious than any man in the play, and that is saying much. Although his good work, I suppose, comes to nothing in the end. Although I think Fripp he goes as far to say that he admires Iago, and he says it is to be wished that there were more of his ability attacking evil. Finally, he tells us that willpower is not everything, and nevertheless, at the end, despite his excellent willpower, Iago's will fails. That's underlined there. So it breaks down. It has to break down before a will that is higher. So Fripp is using Iago's downfall, despite his intelligence, his hard work and his willpower, as a lesson for all. And I will end with a few final words from Fripp, and that is, for what is life without righteousness?